Hey guys, so I'm currently in TAPS. I'm going to take you guys through the process and maybe just share a couple things that I think might be helpful to you if you're planning on getting out of the military in the next year or so. You can scan the QR code here, and it's literally a handbook of everything you could possibly need to know about getting out of the military. Definitely come with coffee. Like, I'm not even kidding, you need it. You absolutely 100,000% need coffee. You can actually take TAPS 2 years from getting out of the military, and you don't have to have any type of separation orders or anything. You can just choose to go. Then after TAPS, you'll do what's called capstone, which is supposed to be done no later than 90 days from separation. TAPS is now a 3-day process, so it used to be DOD mandated 5 days, but they actually shrunk it down to where it's now 3 days. There are other workshops you can take, like an entrepreneur, boots to business class, and other kinds of workshops that'll help you find a job and things like that. So those are usually 2-day tracks, so you can choose to do those. I would definitely recommend that you bring your laptop because you're probably going to get bored in class. The class that I have, I'm taking it at Yokota Air Force Base in Japan. And it's from 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which I'm sure will be pretty similar to your class. You are going to get an hour break for lunch, and about every couple hours they'll give you breaks here and there. It's actually a pretty nice change from having to be at work. So the first thing that you're going to do to schedule your TAPS is you're going to go to the Airman and Family Readiness Center, and you're going to schedule an appointment with the TAPS counselor. That appointment is like 20 minutes to an hour, and then after that they're going to make you sit through a 3-hour briefing. And that 3-hour briefing is basically just going to be a bunch of slides, and they're going to kind of prime your mind to get you ready for the 3-day TAPS course. I'm going to try to come out here on all my breaks and just kind of like update you guys about what's going on in the course and just throw in any little tips that I think might help you as the day goes along. It's cherry blossom season, and I have to show you guys this tree. It's just so beautiful. All the flower petals are falling. They're gonna want you to dress business casual, or you're gonna have to wear a uniform, but you can't wear tank tops and flip-flops. You're gonna see as the day came along that I did take my sweater off when I was outside, but I put it back on when I was in the classroom, so don't come for me, the clothing police. So this is the chart of just like the mandatory courses. The first 2/3 of your day is just gonna be with the TAPS counselor, and then the second half will be with a financial planner. Then there's going to be a whole day for VA benefits and services, which I'm really excited about. And the last day will be employment fundamentals, which is just basically helping you find a job. Okay, so we're at lunch now. Major takeaways from the first half of the day is that they are going to help you find a job. So they're going to show you a website where you can put in your skills, and they're going to help you to look for a job. They're going to help you to build your resume and to make a financial budget. Basically, everything that you could possibly need to get out of the military, they're going to make sure that you know how to do it and you have it. And you're going to have to do the work, of course, but they're going to give you literally all the resources. You just have to pay attention in class and take note of everything. So if you're worried about that, then just take TAPS. You don't have to be getting out of the military to do TAPS. Even if you're even thinking about getting out of the military, you can do TAPS. So highly recommend just checking it out and seeing what they have to offer. Also, when you're doing TAPS, there's what they call Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. And how they put you in a specific tier is by what you put on your needs assessment. This is one of the worksheets that they're going to give you at your counseling before you ever come to TAPS. And they're going to have you fill out this worksheet to see kind of like what your plan is and where you're at and what you're planning on doing when you get out of the military. And so the more potential needs that you have or worries that you have about getting out of the military, then the higher your tier. So Tier 1 only has one piece of homework. Tier 2 has multiple pieces of homework, and then Tier 3 has even more homework than that. So just remember that when you're doing your needs assessment. If you have a job offer, then they can actually waive one of the days of TAPS, but you have to show a job offer showing your start date and be able to prove that you already have a job. And then they can submit a waiver and you can miss one of the days of TAPS. So just something to think about. One of the major things that I didn't realize when I started this process is that the medical exam, so your VA disability, you have to do that 90 to 180 days. And if you wait past the 90-day mark, then you actually can't do it until after you separate. So I actually have 100 days left, and so I'm barely doing it in the nick of time. And I'll share here exactly what they're gonna ask you. I'm so excited to be home and see my hubby at lunch. I literally came home and made myself a steak and some salad, and I'm having lunch. So this is the form that you actually start filling out to initiate your DOD VA disability claim. I'm going to do a whole separate video on the entire process of disability claim from start to finish, like starting it while you're in, all of the tips, and just like kind of what I experienced, because I had so many questions about this when I was doing it, or as I'm doing it now, actually. And I feel like I don't really have a lot of people to ask. This is me just kind of going through the questions and seeing like what are they going to ask me so that I can start highlighting everything on my military records and putting in dates and just like being able to explain everything that's happened in the last 12 years. Like, who remembers what's been going on medically for the last 12 years? So yeah, I got to figure all that out. Once I go through the entire process, I'll actually just link the video here with all of the questions and the entire process, how to initiate the form. I just went on the Air Force portal for this and went to my IMR and then start Shippy. And I honestly thought that I was going to fill this entire thing out today and just like get it done and out of the way and submitted. And then I realized that half of this information, like, I don't even have. And there was just no way that I was going to be able to get all of this filled out in one day. But they're going to get very specific about every single little thing, every detail. Like, have you ever been seen in the emergency room? Of course, because you can't just go to your PCM. Like, you have to go to the emergency room every time you need something anyways. And then there's an entire like in-depth mental health assessment that they're going to put you through as well. I'm headed back to TAPS from lunch, and I just had such a good lunch, and I was just so extremely grateful and feel so blessed to just be able to like go home and have lunch. And when I get out, I'm gonna be working from home, and so I can't freaking wait to just have like fresh food, just, you know, maybe meal prep vegetables, but just be able to throw fresh meat on the stovetop. And just the way that I'm gonna eat is gonna change so much. I'm like, oh, so excited. Because I'm so used to having to like pre-cook everything and then put it in Tupperware and then heat it up in the microwave. It's just like so not it. Who can relate? The cherry blossoms are totally blossoming right now, like raining petals. So beautiful. So I made it back to class, and here is a worksheet of all the important links that you might need. Some of these were really good, like under housing and cost of living. You can actually go to this cost of living calculator and it'll show you like on average how much it would cost for you to live in that specific city, which I thought was really cool and helpful. And then they're going to spend forever like going through this whole spending budget plan. And if you're in tier 2 or 3, then you're going to actually have to fill out the entire budget plan, and you're going to have to turn it in with your TAP paperwork. They covered all the TSP funds, which I thought was pretty helpful because they had us log in and just kind of brought some awareness to the different funds and like which ones are going to grow and which ones grow more slowly and that type of thing. They also went through life cycle funds, which is basically like a set it and forget it. I have mine set at life cycle 2050. This is more homework for tier 2 and tier 3. They're just really trying to set everyone up for success here. Honestly, they thought of everything, so I can appreciate it. They showed us you can go to va.gov and you can actually see how much you'll be making based on the percentage of disability rating that you get and how many dependents you have and whether you have a spouse or not. So we just went through a briefing with a financial counselor, and honestly it was really good. Like, they went over how to find ratings for disability, how to offset your military income to what you need to make civilian income, and like different sites that you can use to calculate everything. So I'll give you guys all of that information, and definitely check out the links because everything is literally right there at your fingertips. They also went over GI Bill benefits, which I thought was really cool. And I'll give you guys the website, and basically went over like you can put in each university or school that you want to go to, and it'll literally break down all of the costs to where like what that school costs to go to as far as tuition, and then what they'll give you in a monthly housing allowance and just everything that you're going to get paid. So that website, super helpful if you're planning on going to school. I am totally in love with these VW buses that they have here in Japan. They're so stinking cute. I wanted to buy one so bad when we first got here. Look at this one. It has like a whole kitchen and everything in the back. But absolutely adorable. And they're literally everywhere. Like, look at this green one. Like, tell me that's not adorable. Sorry to whoever's license plate this is. So this is probably the most important website. It's benefits.va.gov, and it's the 38 CFR, which is basically the operating instructions for all things disability. It'll even break down like if you have bilateral diseases or injuries, like how they calculate the percentages and things like that. This is healthcare.gov. You can literally just go to this website, put in your zip code, and then calculate how much your health insurance is going to be, and just like comparing different plans and things like that. So this is something I'll definitely be looking into. Health insurance is like one of the main reasons that people don't get out of the military. And they have plans ranging from like $50 a month to $300 a month, which to me is crazy that someone is so afraid to get out of the military because of healthcare, but then you can get healthcare for $300 a month. This is veterans life insurance. I didn't realize that you can actually get life insurance through the VA if you choose to. I thought that was only a benefit for active duty, but actually you can get inexpensive life insurance through the VA. So if you're planning on getting life insurance anyway, then just go to the VA and compare the cost and see if it's worth going through them or not, just going through a regular company. It's probably cheaper at a civilian company, but I honestly have no idea. So we're almost done with day one. I will say that everything has been super, super basic, but if you wanted to get out of the military and you had absolutely no plan whatsoever, you could literally just show up to TAPS and they will teach you everything that you need to know. Honestly, they'll help you create a budget. They'll help you find health insurance. They'll teach you how much health insurance costs. Anything you could possibly think of, they're going to teach you. And everything is really surface level, but the one thing they do a good job at is making sure that you have all of the resources. So as long as you're writing down resources and just paying attention even a little bit, like, you're going to be fine. This is the website, so you can just like compare different schools and see exactly what the GI Bill is going to cover based on location, and then like what the benefits are specifically. Like you can see the housing if you go to Tampa versus like Indiana, it's way less, or Ohio. And then once you choose a school, you can click on it and it'll actually break it down to exactly how much the GI Bill is going to pay the school based on tuition and fees and the housing allowance. It's going to show you the book stipend and then like the total paid to you per year. And then it gets pretty specific about benefits and like how many months of benefits you have and all that kind of stuff. And then if you use all 4 years of your GI Bill, then you'll actually get the $100 that you paid into the post 9/11 back once you use all of your benefits. You probably want to make sure you at least have like a little bit of something in TSP before you just go and get out. One thing that I'm super embarrassed to say is that I did not have a beneficiary checked in my TSP, and I could not believe that because I thought I had set a beneficiary. I remember doing it before. Recently, they redid the entire TSP website and it deleted everyone's beneficiaries. And so if you haven't been in there to reset it, you don't have a beneficiary listed at all in your TSP account, which to me is crazy. So I fixed it right away. Okay, the day is over. I made it through day 1 of TAPS. I'll be honest, it can feel like a big waste of time. Sitting in class all day, it's pretty draining. And a lot of it is, stuff that's very, very basic information. Expect to know a lot of what they teach already when you go through the class, but what you can do is just bring something to work on or start working on your VA disability claim, like in class, writing everything out, figuring out all of the civilian facilities that you've ever gotten care at, and writing down their phone numbers so you can call them and request your records, and just make a list of like everything that you need to get done, as well as all of the information they give you. Just write down the information so that you don't forget, because they give you a ton of really good websites and valuable information that you probably won't use right this second, but you might want to go back and look for it later. So that's my take on day 1. Also, a really big thing that I keep hearing about is service-related disability. So that is a huge deal. You need to be seen by the doctor for whatever issues that you have going on while you're in service. And make sure when you're filling out the information for your disability claim, your SHIP or whatever it's called, that you're not just pencil whipping it and putting no on everything. Like, if you think that it could even possibly be an issue, then just put yes and then figure the rest out later. And put notes in there, like explain everything that has happened, because you served in the military, you gave your time, your energy, your life to this, and you deserve a disability claim. Just do the work now so you don't regret it later. When I looked at all the questions that I have to answer on there and providing dates and what happened and details, I became like immediately overwhelmed, because I kind of just thought like all of that would be in my military records. And what I realized is that you have to actually put down the details and claim it in order for you to get any kind of disability rating. And so honestly, I haven't kept track of any of that through my whole entire career. I've been in the military for 12 going on 13 years. And yes, it's probably in my military records, but I'm gonna have to go through and get all of my records given to me, because I don't have any of them. So I'm gonna have to request all of my medical records, and then I'm gonna have to go through and highlight everything and just make sure that I have everything documented. And I think that that's a major thing that a lot of people don't do, because I've talked to multiple veterans and they said, I didn't do any of that while I was in the military. Like, I waited until I was out, and then I was able to get a VA disability claim because, it was a service-related issue and I was seen for it in the service. But what I've heard also is that it's so much better to just do it while you're in the military. Make sure that you have everything documented as service-related, and that it'll take way less time if you just do it right from the get-go. And I almost missed my window, because literally if you're 90 days from separating, you cannot file it. Like, your cutoff date is 90 days. And so I think if I wouldn't have went through TAPS when I did, I would have totally missed my deadline and like not even known, and then I would have had to wait until I was out of the military to actually file everything.